What's up, everybody? GeauxBurns marching up to the podium. And halfway there, I had a different rant altogether planned for you today. But events happened over the past week that made me decide to table that rant for next week's sermon. So today's rant is kind of a sequel to two other rants, my leaker rant and my YouTube rant. Now, last week, a reputable YouTube source in the Grand Theft Auto online community and Grand Theft Auto 5 community, I'm not going to name names, they have connections with Rockstar, so they were considered to be very reliable and trustworthy. A week ago, in a previous podcast that they did, they claimed that they had information regarding the Grand Theft Auto 5 story DLC that by the time they were going to go over it this past Wednesday was no longer going to be hot. So everybody out there assumed that the information that these guys had was going to be based on confirmed information regarding a forthcoming future Grand Theft Auto 5 story DLC that a lot of us have been waiting for a very, very long time. I even found myself checking the Rockstar social page several times a day, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday morning, in anticipation of a big announcement from Rockstar regarding this so-called Grand Theft Auto 5 story DLC information that was supposed to be imminent. However, when I did not see any new information from Rockstar, I decided to go back to these guys' YouTube channel, and sure enough, they had posted their Wednesday weekly update, their podcast. And it turns out, what a shock, what a surprise, nothing was confirmed in their podcast, just a bunch of speculation, rumor mill BS, which royally pissed off the Grand Theft Auto community because we all came in expecting them to have some new information, something confirmed regarding a Grand Theft Auto 5 story DLC because they were reputable up to this point. They had relations with Rockstar, so we thought they had some inside baseball. Turns out they knew just as much or little as the rest of us. But that's only half the reason why I've been inspired to do today's rant. The other half is around a lesser issue, not as big, not as deceptive, the so-called low leaked information that was put out by several of these so-called leakers out there, and that led to lots of speculation, lots of code being found regarding the possibility of either a lowrider or a low-life DLC. Once again, I want to point out the fact that this has also not been confirmed by Rockstar, the so-called lowrider or low-life DLC. The claim is that 12 vehicles have been found in the coding. And there they are up on the screen. You got the Faction 2, the Faction 3. Obviously, the Faction is from Grand Theft Auto 4. The Moonbeam 2 from Grand Theft Auto 4 as well. The Primo 2, by the way, the Primo is already in Grand Theft Auto Online, as well as the Sabre GT, but there's here in the code, Sabre GT2. Virgo 2 and 3. Also, the Virgo just introduced in Ill-Gotten Gains Part 1. Next line of code suggests that we're getting a Chino 2. And as some of you may know already, we got the Chino in Ill-Gotten Gains Part 2. Then, of course, a clean version of the Voodoo, the Buccaneer 2, the Tornado 5, the Slam Van 3, the Buccaneer and a Tornado and the Voodoo already in Grand Theft Auto Online, just like with the Primo and the Sabre GT. And the final bit of code is Slam Van 3. Once again, Slam Van, already in Grand Theft Auto Online. The first truck version was introduced with the Festive Surprise, then the Lost MC version with the Heist update back in March. Even though we can't purchase our own that Slam Van, it's still technically in the game. In other words, those 12 vehicles don't exactly sound so awe-inspiring or impressive are worthy of being the so-called showroom floor cars in an upcoming DLC. Now, it's quite possible that these versions of these vehicles are in fact coming to a future update, but I just can't see them being the main vehicles, the main selling point to this theoretical lowrider or low-life DLC. Let's just hit the pause button and suspend my cynicism and my suspension of disbelief and say that this is in fact going to be a future update. And you can justify by what some other YouTubers have said. Well, since we spent so much money in Ill-Gotten Gains Part 2 and Part 1, that Rockstar wants to give us a quote-unquote cheap DLC, which will allegedly include these 12 rides as the headliner, the main act in so-called low-level, whatever DLC. Are you kidding me? Unless that update comes with some really awesome, crazy clothing and accessories options, and like a really sweet new weapon and some other stuff, maybe even a fourth garage finally. Now, I could be wrong, I don't claim to always be right, but if this turns out to be legit, I think the majority of the Grand Theft Auto Online community would see this DLC as, well, a joke. Now, what makes more sense to me is the possibility that these are simply new mods or customization features that are going to be added for these vehicles already in the game, by the way, except for the faction and the Moonbeam, to Los Santos Customs. Now, I don't claim to be an expert on what you, the gamer in Grand Theft Auto Online, wants from a DLC, but I have compiled a list based on previous DLCs and feedback from you, my viewers, my subscribers, as well as what people want. Obviously, at the top of the list is badass new rides like supercars, sports cars, muscle sports classics, and bikes. They want them to look good, they want them to have lots of mods at Los Santos Customs, and great performance and stats. I hate to say this, but most of you are not excited about a new Primo sedan or a Moonbeam van. And personally, I love the Sabre GT, but why buy it when you can just get it off the streets GTA style? Back on topic, so the next thing gamers want besides badass rides is unique lethal weapons like the revolver, a katana. Well, that's what I want anyways. The chainsaw from Vice City, the flamethrower from Grand Theft Auto 3, of course some ninja stars and throwing knives would be sweet as well. They want new unique weapons that aren't more of the same. The third thing on people's list is obviously brand new clothing, accessory options, hairstyles, high-end apartment interiors, more garage space, duh. We went over that in last week's rant. Gamers also, believe it or not, want brand new Rockstar created jobs like new races, death matches, captures, LTSs, and missions that are fun, challenging, and very rewarding RP and Grand Theft Auto currency-wise. Personally, I wouldn't mind a new survival or two. Alright, so next, obviously masks. We want new masks. We want the ability to have the commercial jets, the blimps, the cargo planes, and all the other vehicles that are only in Grand Theft Auto Story Mode added to Grand Theft Auto Online. It would make free mode a lot more crazy and fun. The addition of wild and sea life, also only in Story Mode. I seriously doubt that's going to happen. And maybe even a brand new location or an expansion pack with North Yankton, Liberty City, San Fierro, Las Venturas, and our Vice City. That would be awesome if we eventually get a new location. I don't care which, I just want to go somewhere else for a while, even if it is cold, snowy North Yankton. But until any of that stuff I mentioned is ever confirmed by Rockstar in a newswire, I'm going to take it with a grain of salt, which is why I did not do a video regarding the so-called Grand Theft Auto 5 story announcement coming this past week, or this low-life, low-rider DLC that may or may not happen. Why, you ask? Well, because I've been burned way too many times, personally as a gamer and as a YouTuber, by so-called leaked information that later on turned out to be false. And I vowed to you, my faithful viewers and subscribers, many moons ago, back in the leaker rant, I would no longer do leaker-based videos. In the words of Papa Bush, not gonna do it. Not gonna make me do it. Not gonna do any more leaker videos because I want you guys to not only enjoy the content I put out, to have a good time. I'm here to entertain you, here to inform you, and I'm also trying to earn your trust. Now, obviously, when leaker information turns out to be false or BS, other YouTubers can easily pass the buck. But as another one of my presidents once said, long before I was around, the buck stops here. In other words, I am responsible for the content that I put out on my channel, that you watch, that you like, that you share, and it's a big reason why 700 of you have subscribed to my channel. By the way, thank you to all 700 of you for subscribing to little ol' me. Each and every subscription, each and every view, each and every like really does mean a lot to me, which is what keeps me going. I am fueled by your support, by your likes, by you sharing my videos, by you subscribing to my channel. And I do not want to break the trust that I have built between us. And I don't claim I'm always going to be right about things with my top 5 ideas or my views and opinions on this or that. But I do try to be as honest and open with you as possible. And the only reliable source that I can go with, as one of many YouTubers in the Grand Theft Auto online community, is not from the leakers, but from Rockstar themselves. That's just how I roll, baby.